epigenetics. Let's get that kind of first. Are you terracing your life, the things you want in the future? Are you terracing your communities? Are you terracing your planet? Good morning, Lord. Are you terracing your family? Terracing your marriage? Are you bringing things to bear in your environment that are designed for the way you want the future to be? I got a question. Are you orchestrating your life for more conflict? Are you orchestrating your world more conflict? Are you orchestrating your world for more peace? Literally, are you terracing your environments? So I'm over here at the Terrace Gardens. I don't even know where they are. Are you terracing your body? What are you putting in your body? Still drinking Coca-Cola? Still drinking Pepsi? Still eating Twinkies? Are you terracing your body? Still taking Tylenol and aspirin? Putting chemicals in your body, ignoring epigenetics and what it actually does in your body, that it literally alters your genes based on everything you put in it? You still trust Big Pharma? Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Estella. Good morning, Brother Jason. Good morning, Catherine. Good morning, John, Leanne. People coming in the house this morning. More conflicting by calling out folks on their BS, raising my standards and teaching the folks around me raise theirs. Yes, Red. Raise awareness, raise your vibration. That used to be a real hippie-ish thing people used to say all the time, raising vibration. I thought they were crazy. I thought you hippies were nuts. Apparently they hadn't figured a few things out. They figured out if you're either bringing more peace and raising the vibe. I think that's how they used to say, raising the vibe. Are you raising the vibe of people around you? Is the world a better place because you're here? Self-accountability time. Yes, Brother John, self-accountability. That's what I love about the people here. Everybody here is focused on themselves. Focus on yourself. I think the planet goes the way it's supposed to. You focus on what other people need to terrace. That's terrorism. When you focus on I think you need to terrace this in your life. I think you need to change this and modify that. No, other people don't need to do anything. You're the only one that needs to do something. You just focus on you. Like I said, that's one of my fervent believings. I think everybody else is perfect. I just need to work on me. Y'all got it figured out. I'm not worried about figuring nothing out for you. I need to figure me out. And I think we figure ourselves out probably by observing other people, observing nature. But that's the question I'm going to ask is are you terracing your life for conflict? Are you terracing it? Because we're always changing things around us. Are we planting food for the next generation? Are we altering the government? Are we altering our environment? Press the wrong button. There we go. How's everybody doing this morning? Yesterday was a little rough. Julian Assange, they took a good brother and put him in a bad place, but we shall overcome that too. We shall overcome everything. We bring the YouTube comments and we'll get started here. Hope everybody's doing good. What is today? Today's Friday all day. Day where people get happy. Happy! It's Friday! Yay! All the other days of the week are horrible. Once again, that's something I believe. Are we terracing our society so that kids can be happy on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? Or as the next generation, are we giving them our problems so they hate Monday? I gotta type in this. I gotta bring in YouTube and I gotta type in some stuff. Can't chew bubblegum and walk and kick rocks at the same time. Are you putting the right things in your body? Are you teaching your kids to put the right things in their body? Are you leading by example or are you leading with your mouth? Telling other people what to do. You got a lot of tellers nowadays. Are you showing children you lead by example and you do those things in your life that you're supposed to do, that you're supposed to be a positive influence on the environment around you? Or are you just showing them you're supposed to be a greedy bastard yelling and screaming at everybody? What the heck is going on with the Facebook comments? I just logged in Oh, there we go. It wasn't there. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning, Allison. Maria is teaching our children. What you teaching your children, Maria? Teach us. What you teaching them? I didn't even look at the news today, y'all. I didn't look at the news today. I have no interest at all in what's happening outside. I know what's happening. You know what's happening outside of me, outside of my body? The same thing was happening yesterday. It's craziness. Good morning on YouTube. Patricia, good morning. Linda. Let me see. Brother Gustin is in the house. If you're unwilling to change during those downward spirals in your life, you will not survive to see those changes that you see. No, you won't. Ooh, you know what that reminds me of? What Gustin was saying. It was a saying. I still call her my mother-in-law. Y'all, I call it an ex-mother-in-law. That's not the way it works with me. I may not be married to your daughter, but your mother. I got a lot of mothers. I have a whole bunch of mothers. I think I got mothers even younger than I am. I have people I call mothers all the time. She used to say, my mother-in-law, she used to say, you gotta live through the hard times to see the good times. You gotta live through the hard. If you're not making it through the hard times, you're never gonna see the good times. You need to learn how to thrive in the hard times. Thrive. And isn't the world in a hard place? Isn't it in a rough spot right now? Imagine how rough it would be if everybody had food. Imagine how rough it would be if all the kids had water, they all had a place to live. It wouldn't be as rough. Imagine how rough it would be, all the terrorists, all the ones that everybody's scared of. We took care of them and we terrorist the world and we took care of the people who were needy. It wouldn't be as rough, would it? It wouldn't be as rough. You know, you ever get to a rough time in your life? You know, rough times are a hell of a lot rougher when you got ruffians. When you terrace your life with ruffians, you know how rough times can be? Oh, they'll prey on you. They'll prey on you. You gotta be careful with that. So you gotta terrace your lives too. Good morning, Rebecca. Are you responsible for your actions or do you blame others for your reactions? Ooh. You are absolutely, I think, responsible for your reactions, your actions, all your shuns, all of them. It's all on you. Your world is what you make it. You know, if you live in a reactionary mode, then you might as well just get a chain and collar, a leash, and hook it up and just hand it to the world. Say, here you go. You get your leash and your collar, hand it to your political party, or hand it to your church, or hand it to the people around you. Just leave me around. You know, I'll outrage you when you want me to outrage. I'll act a fool. I'll cry. I'll be happy only when you say so. It's Friday. I get to be happy today. Okay, so just pull me around. You know, I think the world is what you make it, and how you view things is so important. So important. How you react can drive your whole day and your life and all the people around you. Got to be less reactionary creatures, I think. I think being less reactionary allows you to terrace your life. It allows you to grow food and put in things that are prolific, that will blossom, be beautiful. We're all brothers and sisters, one love. Thank you, Daniel. And we don't have to agree. We don't have to agree. And in fact, Daniel, the way I see that is we shouldn't agree. A family that agrees on everything is a really stupid family. We're all individuals. We're all unique. All 7 billion. You agree with somebody on everything, then something's broken in you. We should all but disagree in love. You can agree to disagree. Remember that, Daniel? Remember back in the wiser days, we said agree to disagree. Like, yeah, you know, I disagree with you. I don't like this person or that person or Bernie or this or that or this program or that project or whatever. I don't like the fact that you're in this political party. But you know what? It has nothing to do with you. It's just an idea. I'm not gonna hate you because of an idea. I'm just gonna disagree with you and move on. Let's go get a cup of coffee. You gotta go back to being those wise people. The Great March of the Return every weekend. Weekends for me, not so happy anymore. Free Gaza. Yeah, Maria, and that is a tough spot we're in. We've not terraced. We aren't terracing the Middle East for peace, are we? We're terracing the Middle East for conflict. But we're being played into that, aren't we? We're being played into it because people, one, they don't read their Bible. They don't read their Torah. They just like to beat you over the head with it. But I was thinking about that the other day, Maria, is that We're really allowing people who don't even understand their own faith, and they don't even understand their own prophecy, and they don't even read up on it. They're just very tribal to create a prophecy. Because that's what that's all about. It's all about people who are in defiance to God building a prophecy, or building their own prophecy. They don't want to wait on God. They didn't have time. They don't have no time for God. They had no time for God. And the Jews are like, I don't say the real Jews. I say the Jews that are not in defiance to God. They're like, hey, we're not supposed to be doing that. None of that. That's nope. God don't like that. God don't like ugly. You know, but the tribal ones, same like thing with the Christians, the ones who actually read their Bible and know their prophecy, like, no, y'all not supposed to be defying God. You're not supposed to be building a temple. You're supposed to wait for Christ to come back. But I've seen that my whole life, Maria. I grew up in the church, and I remember people, they just wanted Jesus to come back again. They didn't care when Jesus was going to get on the bus. They were going to put Jesus on. They invented Jesus. They don't really care. They'll make a Jesus up and they'll tell you, Jesus is born somewhere on the planet right now. We need to build a temple. You know, and they'll just make it up, and they don't care. They could care less. And meanwhile, in the scripture, it would say that no man knows the time or place. You know, and to me, that kind of says you can't make a prophecy. You can't tell God when to come back because you're sick of living on the earth because you terrorist it for conflict and violence with monetary systems and central banking. You don't get to tell God that. You know, because all you're going to do is you're worshiping the Antichrist. At that point, anything that you make Jesus and is not Jesus, whatever Jesus is, you're just making an Antichrist. You're literally terracing the world for an Armageddon that you're going to have to go back and repeat because you're in defiance. And so that is the thing. But Maria, don't be upset about that. It's like Assange, same thing. You know, people get up and they stand up, and I think about the positive things about that. Think about all the love in Palestine. Everybody stepping up. Think about all the love that's over there, people coming together. Think about the real details that are coming out from brothers like Brother Rezeg and some of the rest of them who are there on the ground and telling us in allyship with Jews and Israel that they want an end to the terracing of conflict that Netanyahu and was it PLA or PLO and Hamas, that you know, the things that they're all corrupt and they're all working to keep a terrorist environment of conflict because they like being in power. So I think they're positive things, and we're starting to have those discussions. So I think we have to be positive about it. Good morning, Chi. How you doing, sis? Trying to bring peace to myself and my household and loved ones and see what happens. That's all you can do, Chi. And the great thing about that, sister, is you do it, and that's a happening. That's everything. You just applying that is better than all the gold and houses and whatever you can give to people around you and your family. Just give them peace. If you can do your best, terrace your environment for peace, that's the greatest gift you can give to people. When people have peace, they can solve problems. They can move forward. They can progress. They can love easier. When they don't have that, I think peace might be the greatest gift. No evidence God exists. Yes, Brother John, I completely agree with you. There is absolutely no evidence, which is why I call it a faith. It's the funniest thing. It's called a belief. I believe in me, and it's not for you, right? I don't take it and dump it on you. Don't take it and put it in laws and force you to live like I say you gotta live. You know, but people are in defiance of the thing that God exists. But for me, I don't question if God exists. There's too many things that have happened in my life. To me, I won't call it evidence. Life doesn't work right. It doesn't make sense if there wasn't a God, Brother John. There were some things that I saw a long time ago, and it really led me into a belief of aliens. I ran into a human being that was not a human being, brother. It was not. I don't know what the heck it was. It was not a human. It knew things humans do not know. It knew things in my brain, and it had no purpose being in my brain. I experienced that actually with my ex-wife. Craziest thing. Today, I don't question if God exists. I think that's something that's internal. I think it's something completely internal. And I don't think there'll ever be any evidence of God existing. I think spirituality is something huge, but it's something that people come to, I think, in their own times, if they come to it. And if they don't have to. I'm good with that. Help someone else at the rough times It pulls you out of your misery. It does, Lori, which is why, you know what, Lori, when people say we're like creatures of conflict and creatures of war, I know that's all BS. We talked about that a couple months ago. Like how you feel when you hurt somebody's feelings makes you feel like dirt. How you feel when you physically hurt someone, when you drop the table you're carrying and it cuts into their toe, makes you feel bad. How you feel when you make somebody cry. That's how you know. You get a biological response or an energy response that lets you know that you're doing wrong. That's bad. You're not supposed to hurt people. That actually isn't who human beings are. All the microbiology in your body and your endorphin system make you feel bad and miserable when you do something bad and hurt people. But then how do you feel when you do something good? Like, how do you feel when you give somebody a gift and they say thank you and they feel good? How do you feel when you give somebody a gift and it's not Christmas time, something that they needed, might be money, might be food, bake them an apple pie, I don't know. And the person just breaks down in tears because they have so much conflict in their life that they just don't know how to respond. They break down in tears of joy that you showed them some love. And it makes you feel good, doesn't it, Lori? There's something about that. There's something biological, metaphysical, whatever. Call it God, microbiology, endorphin response. And that is like the age-old evidence that tells us that we are not creatures of conflict. We are creatures being driven in this direction of positivity and loving each other and looking out for each other. We're always being driven, and our entire body is made up on driving us to not hurt people. The Terrace world for peace and love. Sounds real hippie-ish, but I think there's a lot of great biological evidence for that, a lot of great energy evidence for that. There are a lot of great religious, if you want, evidence for that. So I think you help people, and that's part of how you terrace your world. That's part of how you terrace your world. Good morning, Teresa. Good morning, Christine. Just witness and you stay in peace. And that's what I try to do, Christine. I'm just kind of a witness. I try not to engage in the conflict. People want to pull you in, they want to get you in and fight. Join our side. I'm not really much of a sider. I just kind of sit back and I just watch and stay in peace. Don't get upset. Don't be reactionary. Don't let it drive you. Good morning. Your sound is weird again in the echo room. I'm working on that, Ivan. I'm gonna start getting some furniture in here so you can hear clearly. I apologize for that. I'm in a state of flux and in a state of moving some things around. Beautiful scene behind you, Gerard. Thank you, Marie. I think it is. You know what? When I look at this, like, what do y'all see? I see an ancient people working together, because one person didn't do that. I see an ancient people working together, terracing a field. There's grass there and it's useless to anything but cows now and whatever lives in that ecosystem, mice and whatever. At one time used to grow things, to grow food. Who knows? Could have been rice, something else, a community coming together to terrace out in the future. And here it is still today. Could be 1,000 years old. And still today, the terrace is there. A people who understood that they need to lay more in the future and work together as a community and terrace. And to me, it's an example. It's an example of we need to be terracing our ecosystems for peace. We need to terrace our ecosystems for a removal of conflict and working together. An end to ignorance, not taking ignorance in the future and cheering it and helping ignorance to thrive. But I think looking back, we can learn so much from people who came before. We can agree on destructive and criminal behaviors. Well, we absolutely do, John. We absolutely do. There's criminality, and what is a crime? And that's a good question too. What is a crime? What is a criminal behavior to you? I'll tell you what it is to me. To me, a crime is a violation. I don't care what your government says a crime is. I think your government is cute. It's like this little cute thing that people get behind. It's furry, got teeth, and murders people when you're not paying attention to it. But it's this cute little thing like it knows what a crime is. It gets to make up crime. I still believe with Bob Marley that all laws are illegal. They're all illegal. The only crime I think on this planet is a violation. If you are violating somebody else, it means you're violent. And if you're violent, you are a criminal. Short of that, I don't really see any crime. They got 500,000 laws in here, John, and I don't give a damn about 99.9%. I don't care about none of them. Criminal behaviors, violating somebody else. And it's funny, we're in this weird time where it's legal to violate other people. It's legal to violate children and throw them in prisons. It's legal to starve children. It's legal to do all these things if you're this criminal elite that run governments all over this world. Oligarchy everywhere. The only crime I know of is violation. Somebody doesn't want to go there and you're taking them there. Yeah, somebody said free will. Free will. Free will. You know, sovereignty. The only violation is when you're violating that in somebody else. Other than that, there is no crime. There is no crime at all. As long as you're being peaceful, you're doing what you're supposed to do. So but again, John, like I believe crazy things. To me, I think the world sees them as crazy. I don't think it's crazy. I think government's a failed experiment. I think it's a violent thing. I think it's a construct of getting people together. And if you have great enough numbers, you can force another community or another nation to do what you want or be like you. You convince yourself that you're good. And we're still on this Sag Guru comment that there are no good and bad people. There's just people, and we're on this oscillating spectrum between good and bad. No good and bad people, but government is this idea that if we get together and it's more of us than you, and we're right and we're good. Which by default, once we're good, it means you're bad. Once you're bad, it means we can destroy you because we have this self-righteous entitlement to destroy your land and take your oil because we know better what to do with your oil than Venezuela and anybody else. And we just give it to corporations and bankers. I think government's a failed experiment. I think it is. And John, I think we're kind of in some scary places. Like the whole thing with Julian Assange yesterday. If you don't have a free press and people don't have the ability to speak freely, we have nothing. Literally nothing. We're all slaves at that point. And that's why I think something prolific, something that used to be prolific needs to come back. The freedom of speech, the freedom of expression, the freedom of you to say anything that you choose. When data and information is censored, when it's altered, when it's limited in nature, then none of us can make any good decisions. Because a good decision is based on good data. If we don't have a free press, if journalists are afraid to say what's on their mind, if they go to a country and they're afraid to say and produce a report on what they see, then none of us in any country can make any good idea. We're all clones, we're all robots, we're all being fed a certain amount of information. We're mushrooms, we're kept in the dark and we're being fed bull shizzle. So I think yesterday something profound happened. And I'm hoping the world reacts the right way. If we don't have good data, we can't make a good decision. I came out of this corporate world where everything was driven on data. Everything needed a measurable data point so we can make a good decision. And if somebody altered those data points, every decision we made as a team was a bad one. And as a world, a planet, even a political party or a group of people, if all the information is altered before it comes to us, if some of the books are burned before we get to know about them, none of us will make any good decisions. And that is the thing that I appreciate most about Julian Assange is saying the things that were unpopularly true. We need more truth that's unpopular to make it into the public domain, not less. And I think a lot of journalists are going to be scared to do that now. So the world's changed. Hopefully we react the right way. Let me see. Agreed, and we all must learn from one another, good and bad. Amen, Brother Daniel. We are all given a different soul and a piece of light to shine uniquely. It's 100% up to us. Absolutely it is, Daniel. But people are scared. They're scared of like the bad people. They're scared of the bad in other people, and they don't give them any ear time, and it keeps us ignorant. We need to learn from good and bad examples. I think everything teaches us. Religion does not represent God. Religion, it is oppressive. God is not to be subjugated by man. I agree with you, Valerie. I hate the word religion. I think for the lack of a better word, I like to use the word spirituality when I can, because religion drives you astray. The way I see it, and say things, people get upset. It's just how I see it. I just see that religion was created from scriptures, historical scriptures of people who wrote down things a long time ago. And certain groups picked and chooses which of those historical writings, true or false, that they wanted to put in their little book, and they formed it. Like, there was no God that ever formed a religion. I don't think God did that. This is all manisms. And I don't like manisms. Man is a crafty thing, and the scriptures will tell you that. Beware of man. He's a crafty little book. He likes to make up a lot. He likes to lie a lot. He likes to alter a lot. And he'll hand it to the next generation. The next generation will base their whole life on it. Like, I just left a great conversation about how religion has formed me. I'm appreciative of some things, and I'm regretting some other things. I grew up in the church, and the things that came out of the ancient past were good. The Ten Commandment type stuff. Don't fight, don't murder, don't kill, don't covet. You know, simple, basic rules. And those all made sense, and they stuck with me. They're a part of my core values. Love other people, care for them, feed them, etc. But then the manisms of the traditional stuff, and the how to be, who is your enemy, who to fight, where to stand on abortion, where to stand on this, what politicians to follow, like the crazy stuff. This is how you're supposed to be. You're not supposed to live this way. Those things, I regret all of it, because to me, those are all control mechanisms. And I think the more I explore myself, Valerie, the more I find I have a problem with authority. And it's a good thing. I've always had a problem with authority, and I think it's a good thing. You're supposed to have a problem with not having free will. You're supposed to have a problem with not being sovereign, right? And so if these scriptures say you're supposed to have free will, and that God gave all creatures free will, and then the writings in that book from man and the traditions and culture they built around it is all about taking away man's free will and forcing them to be like you or do what you say, there's an inconsistency. There's an inconsistency. And that's what I see. So I see big G God, and I see little G God. I see big G God came along and did whatever it did. People can debate about whatever that is. I think it had something to do with creating all of this. I kind of go along that scientific and quantum physics and string theory route, where I think God is probably, the big G God is probably like a little kid on a laptop. And it pressed the power button, Valerie, like, boop, and the laptop powered up. And to me, maybe that was the big bang, like, boom, the explosion of neurons across the laptop and circuitways and pathways going through capacitors and memory and everything, and created the universe or whatever, living in a simulation. I think that's possible, but you know what? I don't know. I don't know. And I don't care to really debate it enough. We can talk about it. I'm not debating. I'm not a debater. I don't care to debate, because I think what does the word debate mean to anybody? Somebody tell me. Like, debating, isn't that like where you try to convince other people that you're right? Isn't the word debate a narcissistic concept anyway? How are we cheering? What is a debate team? Like, think about that. I think about these things. It's weird. You're sending me down a weird thought path. Like, I was in school at college, we had a debate team. Let me just call it the narcissist team. We're the narcissist, and we're right, you're wrong. The wall is blue, it's not white. Let's fight about what we think it is. I think we know a lot less than what we think we know. I think we're 98% monkeys trying to figure out where to put the banana, and sometimes we get wrong and we shove it in our butt. That's what I think. I think we're a silly creature. We are a very silly creature who always thinks they're right. And so nowadays, I think I'm mostly wrong. I think I'm mostly right. Like, I don't think I'm right enough to debate anybody on anything. So it's like, people say, let's debate about the Republicans and the Democrats. I'm like, no, they're both stupid. Nope, they both kill people. No, I can't debate about it. What do you want to debate after that point? Like, there's nothing for me to debate. That's why I'm not in a party and I don't do your politics. You kill people. That's against basic core rule value is don't murder. Thou shalt not murder. I can't be on your team, and we got nothing to debate about. I don't really care what you do outside of that. You murder people. But healthcare, you murder people. But a wall, you murder people. But we gotta rebuild the temple, you murder people. And if you murder people, I don't give a damn about your laws or anything that you come up with. There's something psychologically wrong with you if you can violate somebody and steal their life from them for oil. That's insanity. Any God that would knowingly allow injustice is not a God I would bow to. Well, John, you know what I kind of think about that. I kind of agree with that. Like, process that. So I'm a big believer in spirituality, and I don't even understand what that means. I ain't gonna tell you I do. I think that we're here to learn lessons. And I think if there is this big G God thing, it's letting us learn, and we're learning through experience and interacting with other people we don't like and who may not like us, who's different from us, and we're learning empathy. We're learning how to wear somebody else's shoes. We're going down that road. And if we're truly not here, if we are energy, you know, how we don't have any atomic mass. Like if you take the atomic mass of a human being, you put it on the head of a pin, you won't even see it because it's just so small. You take the atomic mass of the entire universe and it fits within a pea. If we're not really even seeing mass and matter, and we're just seeing electrons and neurons and fields and how they react and wave energy, then we truly are energy. We're not actually here. We truly are a spirit, if you will. That's why I like spirituality, because I hate the word religion again. I see ancient scriptures merging with modern science, and they're starting to really explain the things that we never really understood, that we are just this energy. And if we don't really die, we just transform in energy and move on to something else, then I think God could be using all of this as some sort of a teaching tool, where it's not really allowing the things that happen that we see them. We see them through our own eyes. We see them through our own experience, pretending we're matter. But I think we're so much more than that. I think everything happens for a reason. And it's like, sometimes as a father, you know what I'll do is I'll let my kids experiment. And I'll let the experiment play out so they can see what happens. I think if they learn and know, like I can tell them the stove is hot all day. The stove is hot, the stove is hot, the stove is hot. Don't touch the stove, watch that stove. The stove is hot, the stove is hot. But until they actually touch that stove, that lesson ain't gonna be burned in, literally. You know, and so I think maybe that could be it, that we're kind of here and we're learning. And this father thing, this parent thing is like, war is bad, war is bad, war is bad. Don't violate people, don't violate people, don't violate people. I'm trying to tell you, don't do that. That stove is hot. And we proceed to join in groups and fight with somebody else and keep conflict and violence alive. And all these things happen in the world, starvation and destroying countries and genocide and colonization and all that crap. And I just see this God thing as a natural law thing, where it's just like, it comes back every, like, listen, I'm telling you not to do that, don't do it. And so to me, like the direct effects of starvation and conflict and violence on this world, I don't think they're on God. I don't think they're on a God thing. I think they're on us. I think that it's all on us. We keep that alive. We keep the dream alive. We keep hope alive in violence and conflict, because we're all these little violent conflict creatures. We can't wait to join a team of other people and go fight some other people. So I don't think that's on God. I think God is kind of sitting back, letting our ecosystem become what we terrace. And we terrace in conflict, and I think we're supposed to learn from it. Experiences that, I just rolled off. I'm sorry, sis. I think that was Rebecca and stuff. We're just kind of talking today. Nothing really I want to go into in detail. Just breathing. Just breathe. What are you terracing in the world? Are you terracing more conflict and control of other people? Are you terracing in more peace and creating a better future? Allow children to receive natural consequences. Yeah, they're natural consequences. Like Rebecca, I'm on that. Like, I think it's if it doesn't kill my kids, if it doesn't like destroy their future, that's kind of when I intercede. But until then, I like something Neil deGrasse Tyson said, let the experiment play out. Kids are like these little scientists. They're born, they just don't have a pocket protector and the suit and glasses and work for a murderous corporation, killing people, experimenting on the general public. They're born, they want to play out experiments. You know, they jacked my house up, Rebecca. My house is jacked up. Them kids done took crayons and drew on the wall and did this and poked holes in the wall, got mad, had all these experiments and took this and mixed that with that and poured on the kitchen floor, got a spot here. One day I walked in the kitchen, Rebecca, and I'm just like, what the hell is that brown stuff on the ceiling? And how the hell did it get there? What was this experiment? Like what? Like the what was that movie Daddy Daycare where he walked in the bathroom and he kind of like, oh my goodness gracious. But kids are experimenting. They're little scientists. Let the experiment play out as long as it doesn't kill them. So that's how I kind of view it. Some people get caught up in the drama triangle. Yes, loud, they do. Well, people do it all the time. We do. And I think the older I get loud, the less I'm trying to be dramatic. Like the more I try to escape the outrage. Because now outrage is sexy. Outrage is the new sexy. I'm mad about something. I don't know what it is, and I don't know who told me to be mad, and I don't know why I'm this way, and I was born in this body. But we mad. We mad about something. Why are you mad? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. I'm outraged. We need to fight. Let's go march. Get a sign. Where's my Sharpie? And I just like, like, I think this might be a bad idea. I don't know where it came from. I don't know if it's a millennial concept. I don't know if the politicians and media are handing it down. But I'm just like, you need to be a lot less angry what other people are doing. You need to think more about what you are doing. You need to think more about how much in this world is actually controlled and how reactionary we actually all are. So I'm like, the whole outrage culture, it just seems like, it's like the immature, I don't want to say millennials are immature. I want to say that. I hate when people do these categories, but it seems like young people are driving the adults instead of the other way around. Like the adults, when I grew up, the adults used to drive us. We look at them like, oh, that's how we're supposed to be. We're supposed to take care of the wife and not hit the wife and, try to be wise and do the right things in life. And somebody knocks on your door, have some sugar, give them some sugar, feed them, every now and then, make an apple pie, take it to the neighbors. And the adults drove the kids. And it seems like now immaturity is driving the adults. And so I'm just like, oh Lord, we need the drama less. We need the drama exit. If we can drama exit a little bit, that would be great. We might actually terrace something decent, maturity in our society. So I had people get upset. We need to go march. I'm like, all right, I see you at the march. I see you next march. I'm not interested. I'm not interested. Especially if you doing it too. That's the question I like to ask people when we need to go protest. I'm like, what you protesting? We're protesting tiddlywinks. I'm like, okay. Did your side tiddlywink too? Yeah, we did, but it was a different type of tiddlywink. What you, whoa, hang on. So you was tiddlywinking too, huh? What you, but we didn't tiddlywink with those people. We tiddlywinked on the other people. Oh, so it's okay it's not okay when they tiddlywink against them people, but it's okay when you tiddlywink against them. So you want me to get together in your bigotry march and go, it's like, you know what, dang it. Oh, goodness gracious, I think I got a wall to paint. I want to do something that actually brings about real change in the world. I want to terrace something beautiful in the world, not this outrage stuff. I don't, Sister Lau, I don't even understand it. I don't know where it came from. I just want y'all to roll that thing back up in the box and shove it back up in that dark space wherever it came from. People need to be authentic and grow up. Good morning, Eileen. Oh, you still kicked off of Facebook, girl. Yeah, that's that problem. You saying truthful things. You're not supposed to say truthful things on Facebook. Girl, Facebook is about how pretty your life is, how good of a mom you are, how nice vacations you go on, and all the gestures you do that just show the world you're just this fantasy nice person, and you're not real, that you never cry, you're always happy, the kids are just nice, they don't get in fights at school. That's what it is. It's this fantasy matrix world, like they're turning Facebook into this, you gotta be fake. You can't be real. You can't ever have an angry thought. You can't have hate speech. I don't get on that again. I love hate speech. I love hate speech. Hate speech is necessary. It's absolutely necessary. You come home and find your husband in the bed with somebody else, it's supposed to be some hate speech. You ain't supposed to censor that. Let it out. Why? Because this mofo need to know that he's wrong. He need to know how you feel. You need to go downstairs, turn the grits on, get the grits going. Al Green found out. You think Al Green cheated again? No, he got some hate speech. He got some hate grits. Necessary. Lorena Bobbitt, yeah, you think, what's the guy's name? John Bobbitt, I don't forgot his name. You think he up to the same behaviors? No, Rebecca, I think he talk about human behavior. I think his behavior was modified by a little hate speech. I think it was modified. I'm not saying be violent, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, Everything is communication, and hate speech is important. I don't believe in censorship. I think it's stupid. The answer to bad speech is more speech. Why? Because when someone speaks bad, we're supposed to speak good. Like when someone gets outraged, try to approach people from a psychological perspective. That's what I try to do. Like, I don't fight with people. They get upset. Dark is jigaboo monkey, you know, whatever. And I'm just kind of like, did you grow up poor? Did you grow up poor? Because I know some people who kind of like you. They kind of like you. They don't drive a dirt truck and gun rack got a Dixie flag, but they drive a low rider hoopty, got some 21s, and you know what they do? They say, God darn white people, white man, the man trying to stop me. White privilege, I hate you, supremacy. And I just kind of say, you know what? Did you grow up poor? Did you? Because, you know, I don't want to get in your fight with you. I'm just curious of where you came from. Why do you have the concepts you do? Why do you hate the people that you do? Did they just show up all of a sudden? All them darkies got together and took my job. Did they do that really? Did they do? Or are you just upset and you're just kind of releasing? Did the white man really show up? Did he just show up, Mr. Charlie? He show up at the door like, Mr. Charlie, I'ma take your job. Did he really do that? And how many was it? Was all of them? It's just like 7, 5. 2, 0, 1. I'd like to approach things from psychological. If we know all of this hate where it grows from, it's because it's terraced into our society, right? It's called artificial scarcity. They literally terrace the hate into the programs in our society to get you to conflict with other people. And so I think when you approach it from a psychological perspective and you listen to the neuroscientists and not listen to the silly politicians and the civil rights leaders and the KKK leaders and the nonsense to get you to go fight with somebody else, it actually makes sense. It actually really makes sense. We need to terrace in all ecosystems, human ecosystems, the things that are needed to make hate go away. And hate goes away. But if you get over there and start fighting with them about, well, we're more victims than you're victims. We're worse victims. Let's have a victim fight. Let's victimology. Who wins the victim fight? The farmer. The people who literally terraced in that actually made you a victim, the people who actually own the resources, the people who constructed the model to get you to have that hate. And to me, it kind of disarms people. But if you go pick up your sword and you fight on the side that the king wants you to fight on, your leader, your owners, the people who took your free will, then you're not actually solving anything. So I think people got to drama less. Drama less. Listen to the neuroscientists, people. Listen to the behavioral science. These people that went to school, got a degree, and this is one of the few degree jobs where they're actually doing some damn good in the world, all right? They're not making weapons of war and making chemical drugs and things to inject in your veins. These are people saying, listen, this is how human beings work. I think there's probably nothing more important right now. I could take myself back, be a young Gerard, going to school. What am I going to study? The most important field probably would be sociology, psychopathy, maybe philosophy, like planning out the future, where we're going, where all this goes if we don't modify our behaviors, right? Why do human beings do the things they do? And when they do something we don't like, let's take out the thing that encouraged them, allowed them to do the things that we don't like. It's real simple. Happy people do happy things. Like Sadhguru said, all you have is, you don't have good people and bad people, you have bad atmospheres. And when you grow a human up, rear it up in a bad atmosphere, you better not expect good behavior. You better not expect it. If you do, you're a fool. And that's what the whole legal system, if you ask me, is based on. There is no justice in any of that. They literally write the laws to make you, to bring about artificial scarcity, to make you go into conflict, because the billionaires that run all of this, they make a hell of a lot of money on you fighting with other people. Well, we got to go fight. You can't just let gay people be gay. I'm like, oh no, you can't really. Oh yeah, that's all you ask the question. Well, you know what? All right, let's examine this. Let's kind of look at it, because I think you're approaching from a scriptural perspective. Is that correct? Yeah, I'm conservative. Okay, all right. Well, no. Who makes people? Well, God makes people. Does God make everybody? Yeah, God makes everybody. Does God make trash? No, God ain't made no trash. Oh yeah? So God made gay people, huh? Yeah, well, yeah, God, yeah. Well, no, did he make them or did he make them? Yeah, well, God made gay people. Okay, so then God put the brain in them, and God put the biology in them, and God put this in them, and God constructed them, and God did this. God omnipotent. Yeah, God is omnipotent. So God knew where this person's life was going to go, and God made the person. Yeah, so maybe we need to fight gay people a little less. I don't know. Maybe you need to think about this a little bit. Maybe you need to go back to the project plan to fight the gay people and think about it from the religion you believe in. Think about it from the faith that you have. Sister, who's that? Rebecca talking earlier about free will. Did God give people free will? Yeah, he did. Okay, well, maybe you need to think about it. Like maybe you picked up a little manism with the God stuff. If God knows what God is doing, and God is making babies with two genitals and this and that, and masculinity and femininity have nothing to do with gender. I think you're marching for the preacher. I don't think you're marching for God. I think you're marching for man. And we need to kind of do that a lot less. We really do. We need to conflict less. It's just not, there's so many conflicts they're artificial. They're artificial. And if you have a problem with authority, you have a problem with not having your own sovereignty and leading your own life, then you got to start making your own decision. There's a time that you got to pull them pants up like a big boy. Get off of that potty, get on that toilet. Grow up, pull your pants up, make your own decision. Stop letting people drive you. You don't need to be driven. You don't need to be driven. That's kind of how I think. Kind of how I think. I could be wrong. I don't know everything. I don't know anything. I don't know anything. I just kind of think about things. That's all. Let me see. What are y'all talking about? Then I'm gonna get out of here. I just kind of want to just have a quick chat. I got a lot of work to do. I got some slavery to do today, yo. I got to pick my cotton because that's the world we terraced. We terraced the world where you got to have a job. You gotta have a career. You gotta make money for the Rothschilds or Rockefellers. If you don't, you get shot by the police. You die and you go to slavery or be in prison. That's just, or they let you starve and die on the street right side out of a food bank. They let you die outside of a hospital, and it's got medication all up in the building. Every drawer got all the things that you need, all the procedures and machines and everything that can save you, but no, it's a wall in between. Damn it, and we got a monetary system. You know, so I gotta do what I gotta do. I don't like no money. I'm not a money guy. But I'm practical. I understand that what happens if I don't make enough money to put food in my belly. So this is gonna be a quick conversation. Let me see. Ish, what are you talking about over there? Cedar, good morning. How are you doing? Are y'all having your own conversation? Okay, I ain't gonna jump in that. I ain't gonna butt in. I probably read it later. I'm nosy. I like to go back and read the comments because there's a lot of good comments here. If you ever show up late and you go back and read some of these people talk about, that's some great conversations. I'll be nosy. I'm not gonna try to butt in. Let me see if y'all got anything new at the bottom on YouTube. All right, I'm sorry, I was being nosy. I'm sorry. I was looking at Ish's response and Cedar's response. I forgot people watching me. Oh, damn. All right. I'm trying to learn. Hey, Catherine, how you doing this morning? Catherine Titus. So parents should be disobeyed because authority is never appropriate? Question mark. Everybody is overgeneralizing. Typical human reaction. So parents should be disobeyed because authority is never appropriate. But I think that the whole parenting process, Karen, is a deep question. I think like the whole parenting process is about preparing your children to thrive in this world. And I think going from like a neurology perspective, how they say it, the children don't have frontal lobes till they're 26. So I think you're as a parent, you're giving your child all the tools they need and the mindset to function as an adult. And so should parents be disobeyed? I think that if it's something you feel you should disobey as a child, then you should. I think that you're discovering who you are. And as a parent, you're preventing your children from disobeying in a way that'll destroy their life. So if you got a gun as a parent, process, make the decision. I got a child, age of 7, likes to get into everything. My gun should not be under my bed. My gun should not be under my pillow. My gun, if I have one, if I choose to keep it, it should be locked up somewhere in a safe with it, you know. So I think you create an environment where you let the kids experiment and let them go out and be scientists and run all these experiments and try to figure out scenarios and how things go and weigh and do this and do that and that. But you're giving them skills to survive in this world. Like one of the things I tell people, I tell kids, I don't tell their parents. I keep telling the kids, I tell my kids too. Always listen to the man with a gun. Always listen to, why? Because if he got a gun and she got a gun, listen to them. Whether they got a badge or not isn't the point. Live your life so you can come back and tell the tale. You know, this whole fight with the police and I respect my sovereignty, the Bill of Rights said, because they're teaching it. And this is crazy to me. Like in universities and they're doing it, teaching the kids, this is how you talk to the police. You tell them your Bill of Rights. I got this right and this right. You can't say this to me. You can't do this. You can't. First of all, we got a Federal Reserve that runs all of this. If you got an issue with the police and you're over 26, then you get your butt out there and you do the things and you fight with the police. How about you do that? Children, they're supposed to be learning, figuring this thing out, staying alive. Then they can kind of make good decisions. We got way too many children being shot by the police at the age of teenagers and younger because we're teaching them that, oh, they've got this ability to talk down somebody and talk to somebody with a gun. No. I keep your kids alive, let them learn, prepare them for the real world that we're going into. And the real world is not you having rights. You don't have them. I don't know how many times I have to say it. You are a slave of the Rothschilds and Rockefellers. The banks run the world and they run your butt. Your children aren't free. Don't you dare raise them to act like they're free. Unless you got $1 billion in the bank. And then I ain't talking to you. You're free. You're free. You can buy your way out of everything. That's all they got to say to the police. And that then they ain't going down no Bill of Rights that doesn't exist anymore. All they got to do is just say, you know what? I got $1 billion. I own you. You the police, my family owns you. And they'll leave you right alone. Prepare the children for the real world. The real world right now has to be modified. Let me see. My kids did that too. They were made messes everywhere. They did, Cheryl, and they were happy kids. You let them grow up, run the experiment, and they learn more when we let them experiment. If you have like a museum of a house, then what are they really learning? You're not letting them be kids. But it's crazy to keep kids indoors anyway. Kids are crazy. Send them outside. Send them outside. My kids, they were trying to go down this route of being these indoor kids playing these video games in these little fake fantasy worlds and these machines. I used to lock them outside. Get your butt out there. Go find some dirt. Get out of here. Lock the door. No. Now you go play with some kids. It's the exact opposite how when we were kids. Get outside and go do something. Get some dirt, put it in your mouth, put it in your eyes, play in some mud, go find a swamp. Go get some bugs, go find a snake or something, put it in a terrarium. You know, go do some natural human thing. And they went out and they discovered, they looked like, wow, outside is pretty fun. You know, as kids, it was slavery to be indoors. That's all you wanted. We woke up in the morning and damn near 6 o'clock in the morning to get up on a Saturday morning, hurry up and get all your work done. Dust and vacuum and clean and do the dishes and everything, wipe the walls. Hey, mommy, in there? Hey, you mommy? You know, clean everything so you can get the hell out. Or you can watch your cartoons first and then you want to get the hell out. Got about 2-3 hours of cartoons and then you go outside and be a human being, not a little robot. Being told who to be, being told what conflicts to have, being told when to be outraged. You know, we were afraid. Toronto's having a nice day. Dee, every day is a nice day. Every day that you're born and you're above 6 feet, you got more freedom than somebody else. Even if you're born in a bad place, there's always somebody doing worse. And I think you can find joy in that, keep moving forward. My example for that, Dee, is like looking at these kids who, they're playing kickball and they're playing these games in like bombed out rubble places, right? Like, I can't fathom where they find joy to play a game and somebody's bombing their neighborhood. The United States of America, Germany, Britain. But they can find joy in that. You know, there's some kids who can't get outside. That drone is circling over, waiting for them to come outside to drop a Democrat-Republican bomb on them. Machu Picchu, I think it might be. I think it might be, Jeannie, I'm not sure. Have to continue my work in the garden till later. Yeah, well, you gotta get out in the garden, do things that make you happy. Like, terrace your life with things that give you joy. That's one of the things that does it for me. Gardening, bonsai, growing plants, stuff like that. Our own behaviors, people. Own correct terminology. Don't allow oppressors to dictate terminology. That's half the battle. Yes, Catherine, words are important. Own the battle. But what's that, G.I. Joe? Knowing is half the battle. You're not actually citizens. You're human beings. You're not citizens. You're human beings. It's time we evolve out of this slave owner mentality. It's time that we move forward. You're not owned by anything. Just because they murdered a bunch of people and put a border around where you were born, that doesn't make you you're a citizen. You're not owned. You don't have a barcode. You weren't born with a barcode scan social security number. You're a human being. Start thinking outside. Like, don't you want your kids to be free? Are we done with this experiment of government and control and force other people to do because you got more numbers? All right, let me get down to comments. I'm always way up in comments. Too many good comments. What the world needs now is love, love, love. That's all it needs, Jennifer. It really does. It needs love, and it also needs you to leave it alone. The world does a good job of being the world. I've been watching the world. I go back and I look at ancient archaeology and history. I think the world been the world for about, well, they debate between 5 billion and 15 billion years. The world just needs you to kind of leave it alone. Like, just love it. That's it. Look outside, determine what you gotta love, look in your life, determine who you should be loving on, and do a lot more leaving everybody alone. Just leave them alone. People are good. People are a part of the ecosystem. Leave people alone. You don't need to take a whale and put it in SeaWorld. You don't need to take a human being and put it in a nationalism. Let people be free. Don't force them what to do. We were taught to avoid conversation about certain subjects when we should have been taught how to discuss sensitive topics respectfully and maturely. Susan, that would be a powerful thing. I call it maturity. I call it maturity. That would be a powerful thing if we could get into those touchy subjects. And that's why I'm against all this censorship everywhere I see it. It's just the dumbest thing on the planet. You know, the sensitive topics are the ones we need to discuss. Why? Because they're sensitive and they shouldn't be. Those are the ones we need to discuss, and we need to process as an Earth community. Those aren't the ones you want to cover up and shove in a hole and make them worse, because that's all you do. Is you make things worse when you avoid the topic. The sensitive things, we need to talk about them till they're not sensitive, till we process and we got the empathy enough to understand the people who are walking in those shoes. And then we apply a fix. Yeah, Brother John, it's a victim mentality. It's a victim mentality. Everybody's raised to be a victim so they can pick up a fight and go fight somebody else who they think made them a victim, and it's never really that person. Each person has experienced their lowest point, no sense in comparing. No, and there is no comparison, Lori. There's 7 billion different types of human life on this planet with 7 billion different types of experience, and guess what? Almost all of them have been oppressed. All of them. All of them, unless you got $1 billion in the bank. You've had something oppressive. We don't need to compare about who's been oppressed more than anybody else. Everybody's been oppressed. How about we end the oppressive system and stop trying to take the chair of the oppressor and be the oppressor? That's what I think. We live under an abusive government that lies and kills, promotes scarcity. We've all been victimized to a certain extent. We have, Susan, and that's why I think we end the experiment. Negativity brings negativity, positivity brings positivity. Yes, it does, Cheryl. We need to terrace the world to be positive. I get your negativity, and sometimes you gotta let it out. But if you're not angry and mad, then let other people be negative for a little while. You gotta join them. Let them do the negative show. You just watch the negative show. Like, yeah, I get it. And just kind of go through the drama and all the cuss words and everything they got to say, and kind of look at what they're really saying. Kind of look through the cracks at what the real problem is, and go off and solve that problem for them if you can, or in society. And guess what? Tomorrow they won't be negative. Oh, now nobody's draining your energy. Nah, positive and awesome that would be. That would be amazing. Gerard, your style reminds me of me and myself. Wisdom, humor combined. Bless you. Well, bless you too, Catherine. I don't think I'm wise. You wise. I'm not wise. I'm a parrot. That's I'm a parrot. I got wise friends. I think I came from wise people, and I just like spit it back out. I don't really know what the whole wise thing is, but I think you gotta laugh. You gotta laugh a little bit. You gotta make life sustainable. And I think it's hard to talk about sensitive topics if we don't have a little humor, because they're real. Like, this stuff is real. Like we talked about yesterday. Yeah, the world is a stage, and all of this stuff is orchestrated. It all is, and we're all being controlled by all of it. But the reality is, really ugly things happen in this matrix. Really horrible things to really good people, and certainly kids. And we can fix these things, and we need to. And I think it makes for a sustainable conversation if we have a little levity. We're not kind of drilled down into the hole. I think news is there to make you outraged. What I prefer is not news that just makes you outraged, but let's talk about real things and talk about both sides of these conflict and issues. And then kind of laugh at how ridiculous it is, because usually the same people are playing both sides. No, I think the gays came from vaccines. They came from... Sure, I know you. Are you being funny? You gotta be funny, right? You know, vaccines. They never really. They only been here about 50 years. We had gay Romans. 3,000 years old, and 3,000 years ago in the Bible, you had gay people. And even guess what? And now we know the Bible wasn't. Those scriptures weren't originally written in Hebrew and Greek. They actually came from a Naga script, which is something relating to the Mayans that Moses got from the archives of the pyramids. Archives of the Egyptians. So literally in the Egyptians' day, thousands of years ago, 5,000 years ago, they were already in the archives. So gay people didn't been here a minute. They done been here a minute. They're just a part of our ecosystem like everybody else. Now, can vaccines make gay people out? Sure, okay. Drugs can make everybody. We know drugs flip genes. They can make you blue, make you green, give you long hair. But so can it make gay people too? Can it? I guess. I don't know. You know, epigenetics is real. Is why you shouldn't be eating Twinkies and Coca-Cola and drinking Bear aspirin and run outside and eat some Pop Rocks. You might die, and if you don't die, it's gonna flip your genes. And if it flips your genes and everything that makes us up is on a spectrum, so anything's possible. I just don't believe in vaccines. I don't believe in poisoning your body. That's what I believe. I believe in terracing my body to be natural, because I think it functions best natural. It's a crazy theory, but my theory is we've been natural for a couple 100 million years. And our whole ecosystem is based in being natural. And if you put anything in there that's not natural, it better solve a very specific problem, or you're not putting it in me. All natural. I think that all of this works the way it's supposed to, and you offer change into systems, that's when you get problems. Hard to remember how hard we're being played. Yeah, Cindy, we are. We are. We need to go back to being not playable. We need to go back to questioning everything. Good morning from Brazil. Hey, down in Brazil, Lordina. Oh man, I want to go to Brazil. I met some great people from Brazil down in Belize with a good friend of mine. Oh, we met some good people. I think he was a producer or something. He used to make documentaries of Brazil. Beautiful country. One of my favorite trees comes from Brazil. It is, what do y'all have, sister? It's called the, I got a couple of them. It's the one with the fruit that grows on the side of the tree. I have so many tropical trees that grow in I have a forest. That's why I live by myself. It's just me, kids, and a forest. Don't have any furniture. You just kind of sit on logs. What's the name of that tree? The fruit grows on the side of it. I forgot the name of it. Anyway, some of my favorite plants, just my friends, come from Brazil. Free Assange now. Yes, Assange shouldn't be in there. We need free speech, absolutely. What's that, Patty? Let me see. When enlightened to the agenda's plan to conquer by division, as the Zionists continue to rule after they orchestrate war between Christian, Muslims, Republicans, Democrats, blacks, whites. Not complying is the answer. Love conquers all. It absolutely does, Patty. The only thing I want to add to that is that We don't need to be fighting Zionism. We need to be fighting the system that empowers power over other people. Right? We need to be fighting the concept. We need to be fighting the principality. It might just be the Zionists there, and this country is somebody else, and that country is somebody else. And at the top, it's these Rockefellers and 13 families. Like when we break that philosophy, when we make the fight against principalities and powers, then we don't just wipe them out and then somebody else steps in. We have to wipe out the idea it's okay for you or anybody to violate. And that's how we move forward, I think. Let me get down. Yes, parenting is guidance. This is what some might perceive as authority. Right, and it's guidance. And the difference between, I think, parenting, I think I said the other, difference between parenting, slavery, the difference between having slaves as a parent and having slaves as a government is the parents set you free. We got a free plan. We got your butt in slavery, picking cotton, raking leaves, cutting the grass, washing dishes, cleaning the house. But we got a plan to emancipate you, and we want you to go be free. Government does not want you to go be free. They want to take more rights and make you more of a slave because that's just what systems do. It's how governments work. Nature teaches their young the basics of life to survive. Exactly, Tammy, that's the example. You teach your children how to survive. You don't break them and give them your problems. And we like to break kids. We like to give them our social problems instead of just solving problems and handing them the next better future. All right, let me see. Freedom is not free when the boot is pressing down on the pen. No, it's not, Augustine. We got things to do to be free. Absolutely got things to do. To me, the first thing is look in the mirror. That's step one. Step one. Step one, I don't think it has nothing to do with the Federal Reserve, has nothing to do with Zionism, has nothing to do with black people, white people. Has nothing to do with any of the isms and nationalisms, the other nation in China and Russia. I think step one is you look in that mirror and say, get up in the mirror real close like that. Look in that eye, look in there, you got any boogers, anything in your nose, any crusties, got any dry skin. Look in that mirror and say, do I do it too? Does my group do the same thing I'm about to be mad at them for? And once you no longer have any logs in your eye for the sawdust in their eye, then you go off and do your research and you try to find a root cause problem and a root cause fix instead of just treating the side effects. A couple more comments and I'm gonna go. We are free when we can associate around common values, out of the free will. Enslaved when blackmailed / extorted or paid off. If we have a price threshold. Yes, Ish, and I believe that saying, that everybody has a price. I believe it. Everybody has a price, and I'm not talking about money. Everybody has a price. For some people, it might be holding their kids in front of a rabid Doberman. I don't know. Everybody has a price to sell out. We live in a control world, and a lot of these things are set up to control us. And so we need to build a world based in freedom and sovereignty. I don't want a world based in money and economic systems. We need a world where human beings are the capital, human brains, life. When creativity and wisdom and intellectual ability is the capital, when we're raising kids and rearing them the world over to make them the commodity, who can make the best kids, who can make the freest kids, who can make the kids that think the best and come up with the Nikola Tesla free energy and quantum physics and time dimensional jumps and all of that stuff. That's when we as a human race are just gonna excel to a point where we're not just waiting here for the next calamity to kill us all, to be reset. That's why I believe in a resource-based economy and a gift-based economy and a human-based economy. That's the basis. We're humans. Why do we have a money-based society? We're not money. Are you a bank? Why is the staple and the basis of our society money? Money doesn't care nothing about you. Money doesn't like you. Money doesn't friend you. Money will kill you. We see examples of it every single day. Our society should be based in what we are. We are not resources. You know what I mean? We need an economy that's designed to support the workers in society like MMT. I don't know much about MMT, Linda, but we definitely need an economy and a society that's designed to support workers. How designed to support the society? I don't know about the worker part, because I'm not even sure I know what work is. The whole job thing, I'm not on the job boat. I'm kind of, some people do best work singing. Some people do best work thinking. Some people do the best work raising kids and empathetic. Some people are empaths. Some people do great painting. Some people, so you know, if we can say work is just tweaking out their gifts and their skills, and yes, I absolutely agree. But like letting an economy dictate the value of a worker based on its input monetarily into a society to make a corporation more money, you know, I think we're kind of going the wrong way. So I kind of mostly agree. I don't know a whole lot about MMT, but I do know what's right about MMT is they print the money. Right? MMT is right about that. They literally print the money. You got banks that just make up money out of thin air and did a damn thing for it. And the kids that are born in those banker families, guess what? They're going to print the money for your kids too. Your kids are going to work hard. They're going to work hard, get a job, start a business, work for the pharmaceutical industry. And those kids, they're just born right in with that. It's not even a silver spoon in your mouth. It's like a earth spoon. They literally are the Parker brothers of this monopoly game. They don't do anything, and they're not creative. They don't make anything. They literally just say, well, how much money do the slaves need? Okay, we need to print this much money. We'll give it to that slave because that'll make the other slaves work harder. You know, print this much money, keep the system going. It's a big Ponzi scheme until money goes away. My son has autism. He's so good and so loving. He knows people can be mean, but he doesn't get how bad things can be. I shouldn't have to struggle to find a way to teach him how bad the world can be. Oh, goodness gracious, the comment just moved. I'm sorry, I think that was Susan. I missed the top of it. I don't think, when I think about autism, you know what I think about? I don't think your son has autism. I think our son has autism. I think children are a gift to this planet, and we're all parents. I think it takes a village to raise a planet. I think it is a crime against humanity that any parent is born with a child that has some additional needs and we don't supply it. I think that's one of the biggest crimes going. There isn't a child that deserves one or two struggling parents to try to give them everything they need. Children are born on this planet, and all of them should get that same amount of privilege and love and supremacy to turn them into the greatest creature we can turn them into. And I think things like that is why I disagree with our government model. I think it's insanity. I don't think that because a child is born here or there, it should deserve, no, children aren't ever going to be equal. I'm not, you know, we need to give them equality. I don't know that equality will ever exist. I know that children should have everything they need. Absolutely everything they need. And some children need a little parenting time. I think some children, but see, you know, the other thing I think about autism, I think whatever things that we have in our body, we have other systems that excel beyond it. So a question I'd ask to you or any parents that have kids that are a little different is, do you find that they excel in other areas? Do you find that their body compensates, their mind is set up, the neurons and dendrites kind of set up a different neural network because they don't do so well in this area, so they got to do a lot better in this area. Like a blind person, as an example. Blind people, they walk around and they found out that kid, where was he in New York? Where the tapping sound, he was echolocating, and we can't echolocate. Like this, the body designed the system to compensate, it got better at something else. To me, I think kids with challenges, I think they're like the mutants of the future. I think they're super kids. They're superhumans because they're developing things that we don't have. Their body is being pushed to evolve, and epigenetics is pushing them in directions that are phenomenal. So as crazy and sick as it is that we got pharmaceutical industries and chemical companies poisoning pregnant mothers and giving kids these problems, yeah, autism's environmental. We got to stop playing this game. Where does autism come from? Autism comes from the oligarchy. That's exactly where it comes from. We have a government in bed with corporations that they bypass all testing of just some of the most dangerous chemicals on this planet, and they put them in your food and your water, and kids end up this way. But I think they mean it for evil, but I think good things are always going to come out. So I don't know. That's a question I have. I think that we are the most amazing machines on this planet, and out of us, the most amazing are children. But I think we got to provide an environment for them to grow and become these powerful little creatures that they can be. Not to sit back and say, oh, that's your problem. That's your problem. You do you, I do me. Less conflict. That's stupid. That's just dumb. It's love. That's what the rest was saying a little earlier. The sister was talking about. What the world needs is love. This is Gerard and your hippie broadcast. I don't know how we got here. We just talked about love for about 45 minutes. I had to get out of here. But I think it's important. I think we need to terrace a better society. And I don't think it's hippie. I joke around, but that's not hippie. It's called being human. They just spelled it wrong. It's not hippie. It's not H-I-P-P-I-E. It's just called being H-U-M-A-N. It's about just having some H-U-M-A-N-I-T-Y. If I spelled that right, because I can't spell. I ain't good at that stuff. I ain't good at the King's English. You know, just have some humanity in you. Have warm blood flowing through your veins. Give a damn. Give just as much as a damn about your neighbors as you do you. Give just as much as a damn about your neighbors' kids as you do your kids. And we'll terrace something amazing. We'll tear something amazing on this planet. And our kids will look back and just say, thank you, my goodness. I don't know how y'all were so smart and wise to just build a new free world instead of the control world. Thank you. Instead of looking back right now, they probably look back, we don't change. They're gonna hate us. These kids, they're gonna look back like, oh man, I couldn't stand my parents. I couldn't say, you mean to tell me they had a chance to change this world and all they did was save for their retirement? All they did was try to make as much money as they could, and they didn't really understand that money is a game. They didn't really eventually figure out that one day the value of money is gonna go poof. When automation did everything, our ancestors had great foresight. They saw the world, they saw the monetary systems, they saw the Ponzi scheme, they saw where all this was going with crony capitalism and crony socialism on crony planet, and they modified everything. They saw why they arrested Julian Assange, and they realized they were just taking free speech to control everybody. They figured it all out and they made something different. I really appreciate those people back in 2019, 2020 when they finally figured out that the world is a stage and they were all being scammed. I think that's what we need. We should have the kids looking back. You know, I think they'll look back at us at like the dark ages. The dark ages are actually, the dark ages probably better than what we got now. They're probably happier in the dark ages than we are now. In the dark ages, yeah, you was in a dark spot, you was in a lot of trouble. But in the dark ages, boy, you had some land, you out in the field, you can go for a walk. Like, you know what? The king getting a little too close to my land. You can pack it up. Get your mule and your pack, your wife and the kids and the husband, whatever, y'all get together to make a cart, something out of some wood, and get the hell out of Dodge. Go find a piece of plot of land ain't nobody else at where you could live free, you know. So you gotta say, in many ways, the dark ages were dark, but in many ways, we legalize a lot, almost everything they did in the dark ages now. And it's all okay now because the betters do it. Our kings do it, our government does it. So it's okay now, you know. It's not dark. I think the kids are gonna look back at us and say, you know what? Man, I'm so glad they figured that out. I'm so glad my parents were smart enough to not be played by that system for another generation. It played them for thousands of years, but man, they done figured it out. And they left us a terrace like behind me. They left us a terrace landscape. They figured out how to construct something that would stand the ages of time. They constructed a society and a government that was based in human beings, and maybe it's not even a government. I hate that word. But I think that's where we should go. I think that's what we should do. That's what I'm gonna do. Brother Kelly, you're already doing it. You're already doing it, man. You're already doing it. Brother Kelly builds hempcrete houses. You're already on it. You are already on future technology of growing a plant that grew prolifically on this planet that can solve endless problems, and then be biodegradable and break down. So you're already on it. We need to catch up to you. And that's what I'm trying to do, catch up to you. Correct. All work, temporal and physical. Absolutely spot on, Sister Linda. Not support corporations. You know, it's Linda, in my belief, I don't think corporations should exist. I think we need a corporate exit. I think we kind of ran this experiment for a while. I think most businesses, they shouldn't have any more than 100 employees, maybe 1,000 or something. But after that, it's too much power. It's too much of a powerful plantation to make them complicit slaves, whatever that corporation is doing. Like one of the basic concepts, one of the basic things issues I have with money is people die because they don't have it. I think that's the most evil thing. Corporations are all about making money, and the banks are all about taking money, and then the printing of money. It's just a scheme. It's just one big monopoly scheme, and I don't want to play anymore. I'm tired of rolling the dice. Banks do not print the money; they create the debt. Thank you, Linda. Absolutely, absolutely. And that was the right. That was the right way to put it in terms of its real purpose. Like people look at like capitalism's about generating money. No, actually, it's not. You didn't do your research. Capitalism actually is about creating debt to get you to go work. It's actually a whip, if you really look at it. It actually is a whip. The way the monetary system is set up with capitalism, it actually is designed to make debt to get you off your butt and go to work on Monday morning so you'll be happy on Friday. It actually is, it's a tool of slavery. Scary, but it's just really, I appreciate you saying it that way. You literally make debt to get humans to go do your slave labor. It's no different than a whip. No different than a whip. And you're not getting your slaves in Africa off of throwing them on the boat. They're born like, you're a slave. Here's your social security number. Now here's some debt for you. Now you need to go pay this off or we're gonna throw you in prison. And how crazy is that we do that to every child that's born on this planet in this country? Insanity. All right, I gotta get going. Anybody got a last word? Need to learn MMT to see its advantages to society instead of corporations. I'll take a look at it and some other things I want to look at too. I want to look at blockchain and things like that. I'm just the money thing, Linda. That's the only thing. It just leaves a sour taste in my mouth. Anytime it's like cryptocurrency and blockchain. I like the idea and the philosophies of blockchain. It's just when you start talking about the currency part, I think the basis of our society has to be human beings. It has to be resources and making sure everybody has what they need. And it's not about socialism. It's about being an elderism. It's about being an elder and thinking forward and lining things up for the next generation to make sure everybody has everything they need. Because the planet provides everything you need. You just got to put the seed in the right place, and it just keeps coming back and back and back and back. You know, it's like the deer figured it out. The deer have enough food for the next generation until we destroy it. Let me see. Man, you just can't go a day without saying that cuss word. They put that O word anywhere they can. Y'all just shove it in anywhere you can. That four-letter cuss word start with an O. All right, let me see. I'll come on your thread dropping O-bombs, do I? No, I don't. Let me see. Be the best you can be just for the day. That's it. That's it, Amy. We'll end on Amy. Be the best you can just for today. Tomorrow, you can be better. But I think today, all you want to try to do is be better than you were yesterday. You're not in competition with anybody. You're not fighting with your neighbor. You're not trying to get a nicer car. You're not trying to get a bigger house. You're not trying to be smarter. You're not trying to be better. You want to kick the ball. You don't want to run faster. You're not in competition with anybody but yourself. Yesterday, not today. Be happy with who you are today, but you're in competition with yesterday. Just beat that person. Be better at loving people and terracing a better world than that person was. That's it. You're not in competition because it's an apple and oranges competition. It doesn't make any sense. Why would an orange be in competition with an apple? Doesn't make any damn sense. They make different compounds. They look different colors. They grow on different trees. There's 7 billion different types of human beings on this planet. You don't need to be in competition with China, nor do you need to be in competition with your neighbor or your wife or your brother or your sister. That's stupid. You keep moving forward. You keep evolving and you ignore the whole scheme of monopoly that gets you to go in conflict with somebody else. Just do that. All right. Yeah. Ooh. Oh, Mary, what the hell? What y'all talking about? No, this is Okrama? Oh, that sounds like Obama with like okra stuffed everywhere. Oh, that's nasty. I got to go. It's Friday. Listen, y'all have a great weekend. This is Gerard. I am out of here. Oh, Lord. Man, we need to just burn that plane off the planet. I don't know what's wrong with you. The human body was not designed for that mess. Mine, but 7 billion different types of human beings, and my body was not designed to have no green, slimy slugs and okra in it. Leave it alone. Let it go. Walk away. Walk away. Just walk away. Anyway, listen, y'all have a great weekend. This is Gerard. Love y'all to death now. Bye-bye.